Ymedia Group, the fastest growing media group in North America.
बहुत शुक्रिया जी, थैंक यू सो मच। और वाई मीडिया ग्रुप वालों सारे एक बार फिर रेडियो वाई और चैनल वाई ਦੇ बहुत बहुत स्वागत है जी। ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ G7 ਤੋਂ जुड़े हुए ने शुभी जी इस ਵੇਲੇ जुड़े ने, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। Kananaskis ਉੱਥੇ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉੱਥੇ ਨੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਿ G7 ਸਮਿਟ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। शुभी जी बहुत बहुत स्वागत है वाई मीडिया ਤੇ। ਕੀ ਹਾਲ ਹੈ ਸਰ? How are you doing? Good?
Good, how are you doing?
Doing great. So what's happening there? I know the British Prime Minister, he's already had a bilateral meeting with the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, US President Donald Trump, one-on-one meeting with Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney. Where is Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi? What's his
definitely wanted to give a quick breaking news, Ymedia breaking news for everybody. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be landing in Alberta at 4:35 p.m. Mountain Time. That is 6:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I think everyone wants to know what's going on here. Over here, definitely everyone is still talking about the bilateral meeting that Canada and U.S. had. Prime Minister Mark Carney met with U.S. President Donald Trump. And I'd say it was an interesting and a very, very interesting meeting that they had in the discussion that they had post. They talked about Russia. They talked about the Iran and Israel war. They also briefly touched upon Canada and U.S. So, you had a look at the press conference. I kind of want to understand from your point of view as well. What did you think? Do you feel like it was a productive meeting that they had, or was it something that where it's just a formality? They just brushed off the meeting, or U.S. President Donald Trump didn't really take it seriously? What do you think?
No, I think U.S. President Donald Trump, he would definitely take the meeting seriously, and so would our Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. And as you heard U.S. President Donald Trump, he's saying he wants to get to the bottom of the Canada-US trade deal. His idea was that he says he's always been Donald Trump's. The U.S. President mentioned that he's always been a tariff man, and he still wants to be a tariff man. So he's saying he wants to talk tariffs. But he was addressing the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney with his first name. He's addressed most of the other leaders, Modi, Putin, Trudeau, mostly with the last name. There was quite interesting to watch, at the start of the G7 summit, the US President Donald Trump addressing Mark Carney with the first name Mark, which sometimes is a good signal. And because when you address someone with the first name, it's like you're quite comfortable. Usually, like nobody, I doubt many people address Donald Trump by the name Donald. Only if you know him very well, that's the only time you will address Donald Trump by the name Donald. Otherwise, in normal conversations as well, people would address him as Trump. And Mark, because you were saying Mark has different ideas, the US President Donald Trump was saying he's mainly a tariff man. And the reporters did ask the question as well, what's taking so long? What's the hold up there? So in reply to that, US President Donald Trump was saying that he's trying to get to the bottom of the deal, and then something might work out. So he says he's not sure, but something can work out when it comes to a new trade deal. But Donald Trump also, regarding Canada, he also mentioned another important point where I would say he dragged in Canada. So he said it was a mistake to exclude Russia from G8. So Donald Trump, he blamed the former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, for removing Russia from the G8 group. But I mentioned there and then, right as the press conference was on, I mentioned there and then that I doubt, what US President Donald Trump is saying, because I clearly remember when Russia was removed. As journalists, we track all those events. Russia was removed in 2014, and at that time, the Canadian Prime Minister was Stephen Harper. I mean, Trudeau came in 2015, so Harper was still in office when G8 became G7. Russia was removed. So, but anyways, Trump, blamed Justin Trudeau, and he also said Joe Biden's bias.
Well, sorry to interrupt you there. He started off with it being when he was talking about Russia. Started off by saying that first I want to blame Barack Obama and a person named Trudeau. He didn't even say Justin Trudeau or Trudeau. He said a person named Trudeau. Then he moved on to basically saying that this war, this war wouldn't have happened if Russia was still in the G8, right? And it also wouldn't have happened if he was prime minister 4 years ago, right? So it was kind of interesting to see his point of view on the whole Russia-Ukraine thing and Russia being excluded a long time ago, because he was saying that I wouldn't even consider them as an enemy, but you want power like that about Russia, you want a power like that at the table, because everyone's talking about Russia, but they're not even at the table to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, you could always question, I'm not saying you can blame, but you could always question Barack Obama for ousting Russia and Putin, because Barack Obama, he got elected in 2008, and then from 2008 to 2012, his second term was from 2012 to 2016. So 2014 definitely came under his tenure. So you could definitely question Barack Obama for ousting Russia or Vladimir Putin, and he also mentioned that Putin felt very insulted. And yeah, if you were moved from G8, anybody would feel insulted. But I'm not sure, other than Barack Obama, how could you blame Justin Trudeau? But anyways, he did that. And also regarding your point of if he was the president, yeah, obviously he came in as the president in 2016. So now U.S. President Donald Trump is saying that if Russia was still part of the G8, the war wouldn't have happened. So we all know the war that he's referring to as the Russia-Ukraine war. That's what he's referring to. But I'd also like to bring your attention to another war that's going on right now, that is Iran versus Israel. So the Iran versus Israel war that's going on right now, so first things first, I think Israel has clearly said that they will strike everywhere against Iranian dictator. That's the latest statement from Israeli Defense Minister. Other than that, yes, group G7 summit is happening, so there's a lot of question regarding what's happening and what would be the statements there. So on this front, I would say yes, there are lots of statements from all the different leaders. I'll start with the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. So he said we all have to find a way to de-escalate the situation in the Middle East, because conflict of Israel and Iran, it's inflaming the tinderbox of Gaza and hurting the global economy. So that's what Keir Starmer mentioned when Donald Trump was asked about this, is US backing Israel. So Donald Trump clearly said, US President said, yeah, US has always backed Israel. So that's what he said. But he also clearly warned Iran that Iran should negotiate before it's too late. They have to make a deal. And it's painful for both parties, but I would say Iran is not winning this war, and they should talk. They should talk immediately before it's too late. That's what Donald Trump told this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was interesting to see what he had to say, because he was also asked that is the U.S. going to get involved in this conflict militarily, and he was very clear with his point that I do not want to answer or talk about this any further. So it was interesting to see, because a lot of the nations, I think yesterday when I was here and I was doing my preliminary analysis as to whichever leaders are coming, what is their take going to be on the and what are they going to talk about? What points do they want to set across? And one thing that I can definitely see is the Iran and Israel discussion is very, very is a hot button topic right now. Everyone wants to know where each country's leaders stand. And as you mentioned, Keir Starmer, his main focus is, one, the de-escalation of this, and second, he may also bring it up with the France and the EU partners regarding the migration issues that Europe is facing, right, especially with England. But it's the Israel and Iran war is going to be very, very interesting to see what a lot of the other bilaterals kind of pick up on as well.
Yeah, and I also want to get a sense of what the journalists are feeling there, because you're there on ground zero at the G7 summit. So I'm sure you must have interacted with other journalists over there. So what is their sense when it comes to the summit itself? Are they seeing there are going to be very concrete outcomes? Any discussions that you heard regarding Canada, US related, regarding is there any mainstream journalists? I know there are many journalists from across the globe, CNN, BBC, Associated Press, CBC, they're all there. So what are they talking about?
I think when I was having discussions with a lot of these people, majority of these journalists there were two main key points that they wanted to talk. Were looking at was definitely Trump, because I feel like this G7 summit is a little bit different to what has taken place in the past, and one of the main reasons for that is that at that time there weren't many, I'd say, threats of like lasting tariffs and everything. So I think every leader and every journalist wants to see what discussions are taking place through regarding the tariffs, and especially with Donald Trump. Like, for example, the Australian Prime Minister, one of his main things would be to get a little bit of a relief when it comes to the 10% tariffs that they have, because it's affected Australian exporters. So similarly with the UK Prime Minister, similarly with Canada. So tariffs is one of the biggest topics that everyone kind of has their eyes peeled on. They want to know what's going on as well. In terms of the other topic, as we already had discussed briefly, is the Iran and Israel war, because again, that is a very hot button topic as well. So people want to know what's going on with that, what discussions are taking place. Like, you've already given an analysis regarding what the UK has said, what Iran has said, what Israel has said. So it's we're waiting for there are a few more bilaterals that are going to be taking place today. I know that we just had the U.S.-Canada one, where the the Canada and UK one is already taking place, and then now we're kind of stepping into Canada and Japan are set to sit around 4:10 p.m. today Eastern Standard Time. We also have members from NATO, Mark Rutte. He will be joining us. Ajay Banga from World Bank. He'll be joining us later today as well. And then at 6:15 p.m. we have the Canada-France bilateral as well. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what topics they discuss, as well as PM Carney had visited France during his Europe trip as well, to see what developments come out of that.
Great. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So can you tell us again what time he's going to arrive?
So his expected arrival is somewhere around 6:35 p.m. And I think, assuming how everything is going to go, hopefully they do sit today. They have a discussion today. If not, I am expecting them to sit by tomorrow. And as I think everyone saw, whether you're watching Channel Y, Radio Y, Midweek newspaper, or our online platforms, that Modi was in Cyprus prior to his travel to Canada. So I think everyone's going to be waiting to see what comes out of that discussion. And we do have, right after Modi, we do have people from the United Nations, and Lula da Silva from Brazil. He will be joining us post Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's arrival.
Great. So thank you so much for that. Anything else you want to mention or ask before I let you go, please?
No, I just wanted to let all the viewers know that I'm here at Ground Zero in Alberta, and I want everyone to stay tuned to all our platforms. There will be a lot of analysis that I'm bringing as to what discussions are going to be coming up, what talks are taking place, and what's going on here at Ground Zero. So please make sure you guys stay tuned, whether you're focused on what's going to happen with Canada and India, because that is a very, very crucial discussion that a lot of people are looking at. There's a lot riding on this meeting, as they had their first call on June 6th, and now we're trying to see, will Canada and India be able to start rebuilding the relationship, or will it stay the way it was, a cautious diplomatic sort of situation? So please stay tuned to all our platforms. My name is Shubi. I'm here at Ground Zero with Ymedia Group. Please stay tuned.
All right, Shubi. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the best. We'll catch up later on. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Ymedia Group ਨੂੰ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕਵਰੇਜ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜੋ G7 ਸਮਿਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਲੀਗ Ymedia ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸ਼ੁਭੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਟੀਮ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਔਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਲਾਈਵ ਅਪਡੇਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੱਸਦੀਏ ਕਿ G7 ਸਮਿਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਯੂਐਸ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟ ਡੋਨਲਡ ਟਰੰਪ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਮਾਰਕ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਨਮ ਦਿਨ ਤੇ ਵਧਾਈ ਦਿੱਤੀ US ਆਰਮੀ ਦੀ 250th ਐਨਵਰਸਰੀ ਤੇ ਵਧਾਈ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਮਾਰਕ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਨੇ ਔਰ US ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟ ਡੋਨਲਡ ਟਰੰਪ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੱਸੀਏ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਹੋਈ ਉਹ ਰਸ਼ੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਜਿੱਥੇ US ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟ ਡੋਨਲਡ ਟਰੰਪ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਰਸ਼ੀਆ ਕਿਸੇ ਸਮੇਂ G8 ਦਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਫਿਰ ਬਰਾਕ ਓਬਾਮਾ ਔਰ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਸ਼ੀਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ। ਸੋ ਇੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਲਾਈਵ ਹੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ, ਮੈਂ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਵੀ ਕਰੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਕਿ 2015 ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਆਏ ਸੀ, 2014 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਰਸ਼ੀਆ G8 ਤੋਂ, ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਅਟੈਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਕ੍ਰੀਮੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਅਨੈਕਸ ਕੀਤਾ, ਤੇ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਤੇ 2014 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਸਟੀਫਨ ਹਾਰਪਰ ਸੀਗੇ। ਹਾਂ, ਬਰਾਕ ਓਬਾਮਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪੁੱਛ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਰਾਕ ਓਬਾਮਾ 2010 ਤੋਂ 2012 ਪਹਿਲੀ ਟਰਮ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ, ਔਰ ਫਿਰ 2012 ਤੋਂ 2016 ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੈਕਿੰਡ ਟਰਮ ਸੀਗੀ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਰਸ਼ੀਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਅੱਜ ਜੰਗ ਨਾ ਹੁੰਦੀ। ਫਿਰ ਈਰਾਨ ਦੇ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਤੇ US ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟ ਡੋਨਲਡ ਟਰੰਪ ਨੇ ਸਾਫ਼ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਕਿ ਇਜ਼ਰਾਈਲ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਕਰਦਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਇਜ਼ਰਾਈਲ ਦੀ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਈਰਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨੇ ਦਿਨ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਡੀਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, 60 ਦਿਨ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਡੀਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ, ਇਸ ਕਾਰਨ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋਇਆ ਈਰਾਨ ਦਾ, ਔਰ ਵਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਕਿ ਈਰਾਨ ਜਲਦੀ ਹੀ ਡੀਲ ਕਰ ਲਵੇ, ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਈਰਾਨ ਦਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਬਿਫੋਰ ਇਟਸ ਟੂ ਲੇਟ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜਲਦੀ ਤੋਂ ਜਲਦੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਡੀਲ ਕਰ ਲੈਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ। ਪੱਤਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਵੀਂ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਡੀਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਔਰ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਦੀ ਕੀ ਤਾਜ਼ਾ ਸਥਿਤੀ ਹੈ, ਵੇਅਰ ਇਜ਼ ਦਾ ਹੋਲਡ ਅਪ। ਸੋ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ US ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟ ਡੋਨਲਡ ਟਰੰਪ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਉਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਟੈਰਿਫ ਲਗਾਉਣੇ, ਔਰ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਆਲਵੇਜ਼ ਬੀਨ ਅ ਟੈਰਿਫ ਮੈਨ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਮਾਰਕ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਅੰਦਾਜ਼ ਅਲੱਗ ਹੈ। ਮਾਰਕ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਫਸਟ ਨੇਮ ਤੋਂ ਬੁਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਰਹੇ, ਮਾਰਕ ਕਹਿ ਕੇ ਬੁਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਰਹੇ। ਅਕਸਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਲੀਡਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਲਾਸਟ ਨੇਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਹਿਚਾਣ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਡੋਨਲਡ ਟਰੰਪ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕ ਟਰੰਪ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਨਰਿੰਦਰ ਮੋਦੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੋਦੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਸੋ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਮਾਰਕ ਕਹਿ ਕੇ ਸੰਬੋਧਿਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ, ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਫਰਟ ਲੈਵਲ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੈ। ਬਾਕੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੱਸ ਦਈਏ ਕਿ ਡੋਨਲਡ ਟਰੰਪ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡਾ ਆਟੋ ਸੈਕਟਰ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਟੈਰਿਫ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਸਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਸਟੀਲ ਔਰ ਐਲੂਮੀਨੀਅਮ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੈਕਟਰਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਟੈਰਿਫ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਡੈਫਿਸਿਟ ਸਾਡਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ, ਐਕਸਪੋਰਟ ਸਾਡੀ ਘਟਦੀ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਜਾ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਸੋ US ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟ ਡੋਨਲਡ ਟਰੰਪ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਡੀਲ ਹੈ ਵਰਕ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਵੀ ਕੈਨ ਵਰਕ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਆਊਟ ਵੈਨ ਇਟ ਕਮਸ ਟੂ ਨਿਊ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਡੀਲ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਫ਼ ਇਸ਼ਾਰਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਕਿ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਟੈਰਰਿਸਟ ਮੈਨ, ਔਰ ਮਾਰਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਰਾਦਾ ਉਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਅਲੱਗ ਹੈ। ਮਾਰਕ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਚਾਹੁੰਗੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਟੈਰਿਫ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਨਾ ਲੱਗਣ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਜੋ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਔਰ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੀਡਰਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਅਪਡੇਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਾਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹਾਂਗੇ। ਇੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਕਰ ਦਈਏ ਕਿ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੀਡਰਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਉਣਗੇ, ਔਰ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਨਰਿੰਦਰ ਮੋਦੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਰ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀ G7 ਸੰਮਿਟ 'ਚ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ।
Ymedia Group, the fastest growing media group in North America.